guys, welcome back to another episode of Formers Friday. Now last week we were talking about You're the Horse Optimus Prime, and I was talking about how much I love Optimus Prime, of course, I'm a child of the 80s, and I also love funky color variations. But there's also a third thing you should probably know, and that's I really like these tiny versions of the Transformers. Sometimes the Commander class, sometimes they're called Legends class, kind of depends I guess what wave they're in. But I actually kind of like the tiny ones because it reminds me of most of the figures I had as a kid were the smaller ones, so I kind of like that. Plus I grew up with, muscle figures and things like that, so smaller size toys are ones I tend to like quite a bit. And when I saw this Beast Hunters Optimus Prime from the Transformers Prime line, something about it really struck out at me, and I just decided I had to have it. And as it turns out, as funky colorations go, they have made two variants of this so far. So today, we're going to take a look at this Commander class Beast Hunters Optimus Prime, the different variations they have on it, and just for comparison's sake, I do have the 2011 Legends Optimus Prime and the Transformers Generations Optimus Prime, so we'll take a look at some of these different tiny little primes. So let's jump into the photo tent, and here we have our big guy. Now, I will admit, I do not watch Transformers Prime. I know I should, everybody says it's great, whatever. But I saw this figure, and because I love the snub-nosed cab version of Optimus Prime, something about this, just instantly drew me to it. I just had to have it. And as variations on Optimus Prime go, this one really shouts out to the original G1 look that I prefer. It has the blue legs and trailer piece that's on here. It's got the red snub-nosed cab design, and it has these weird, metallic teeth on here. Like I said, I don't watch the cartoon, so I'm sure there's some sort of explanation as to why it's on there. But as far as I'm concerned, it's just a funky Optimus Prime variant, and so that's why I'm in love with this figure so much. Now, it does come with these two little attachments. You've got this little gun that shoots a missile out that can shoot out of there, or I guess he can hold it as a staff and he can club somebody or cast magic spells with it. I'm not sure what the point of that is. And then he also comes with this sword that's got this kind of funky circuitry line work on it. For the most part, I don't really care for these attachment pieces, but the fact that they can snap on the figure and at least kind of get out of the way is a nice touch. Now, taking a look at this figure, and again, in comparison, we've got the Generations Optimus Prime there, and we've got the 2011 Legends Optimus Prime, and you can see that he's kind of on par with this guy, although he's obviously bigger in terms of scale, and then way overshadows this little guy. Now, this little guy is basically your straight-up G1 representation in the tiny little figure form, whereas this one has got the kind of modified, air blower, the shield thing, whatever. But one thing, of course, I hate are the feet that kind of stick up and get in the way there. It just, really looks silly as a truck. Piece of kibble sticking out there. Plus, the back of the head is a giant hole. You can stick a gun in there, but he just looks stupid with a giant gun stuck on the top. But so, between these two figures, they both kind of have that basic G1 design to them, which is why I like them, and it's the same reason why I like this funky guy. Now, of course, with the magic of video editing, we are going to make this Optimus Prime transform. And there he is in full robot mode. Let's take a look. Full robot mode Optimus Prime. Now, he is kind of funky, really, in comparison to regular Transformers, or at least regular Optimus Primes. Again, the metal teeth are there, but they actually kind of blend in, and they really don't look that bad. The back of his trailer actually folds into the legs and kind of hides away like that, so the legs actually look fine. The head is, not your G1 head. It's based off the Prime show, so it has a much taller middle spire there, but the really big difference here is, one, the wheels are up at the shoulder, and 2, his smokestacks are kind of hidden on the side of the arm here. Now, the smokestacks are the only thing that really bother me in his robot mode, because if they had just put a little twist on it, and you could, you know, twist it, maybe so it's pointing forward, like some sort of little gun, or could twist backwards and just became like a point on his elbow, I think it would have looked a lot better as a figure. As far as the wheels being up on his shoulders, it is kind of funky looking, but in a way, I like it. And it's really kind of hard to justify why I like it. I can't really tell you why it doesn't bother me as much as it probably should, because I don't know of any other representation of Prime that's really built that way. But for whatever reason, it just, I don't hate it. I thought I probably would, and like I said, I probably should. But I just find that I don't. Now, if you hear this noise here, I'm transforming one of these other little guys. This is the Legends, or no, I'm sorry, not the Legends. This is the Generations Optimus Prime for comparison. The one thing I hate about this is the way it splits open. That looks too much movie inspired for me, so usually I just go ahead and close it up, and then it looks more like a regular Optimus Prime to me. But you can see how much bigger this Beast Hunters one towers over regular Optimus Prime, or I'm sorry, Generations Optimus Prime. You can just see how much taller he is. He is a much bigger figure, and we already saw that the Legends figure was much smaller as a truck, but as a robot, he's so much smaller. But again, I think this kind of shows how much that this one really does, you know, pay homage to that kind of G1 design. Now, this one, of course, is somewhat modified as well because of the limitations of making this tiny figure, so he's got the little wheels on the arm, and that does look funky on him. But from a straight-on view, he really doesn't look that bad. And in comparison, you know, I think this one actually looks pretty nice. The wheels on the shoulder just don't bother me as much as they probably should, and I think part of the reason why is because it adds to his big, bulky overall feel. One thing I've said that I like about classic Transformers as opposed to Bayformers is I like the big blocky look to them. I like the idea that they look like a, you know, a football linebacker covered in pads and everything. I like this look. He looks strong, he looks tough, and having these up here I think just kind of add to that big look. Now, I don't want that in every version of Optimus Prime, obviously, but this being the funky kind with the teeth on it and everything else, I really am just fine with the way that this one looks. So, I got this guy and was very happy with it, and you know, really had no qualms and put it in my collection and just really enjoyed kind of having him there. And then one day, out of the corner of my eye, when I happened to be in a Walgreens of all places, I happened to see a green one. Now, I have no idea why they made a green one. Perhaps this makes sense to people who watch the show. Maybe it happened in Season 2 of Beast Hunters. I have no idea, but for whatever reason, it is the exact same figure. He comes with the same accessories, but then he also has this piece that sits on top, which is some kind of shield that he can wear. But then it also pops out and becomes some kind of crazy wings. And so I'm not sure if he's supposed to look more like a bug or something with wings on him. And this shield, I really have no idea. It kind of has that Autobot symbol. And someone said that this symbol is actually in the Beast Hunters cartoon. So, you know, I guess that that's probably true. But then as far as the figure goes, he is, again, the same figure that we saw, except being green. And the other difference is that his trailer back here is silver, which actually kind of has that look of the G1 with the silver trailer on the blue. So, just like we did a minute ago with the red Optimus Prime, let's take the green Optimus Prime and make him transform. And here we've got our green Optimus Prime. Now, obviously, his front windows are a lighter green instead of being black. He's got gold here instead of silver. And the silver on the trailer is there. But otherwise, you know, he is the same figure. And in fact, you could almost make these guys into your Christmas card. You've got red and green is Christmas, right? So again, funky color variation, that overall kind of basic G1 look. I just had to have it again as part of my collection. And these two guys side by side, I think they just kind of look really cool. And there's my cat. Thanks, cat. He agrees. And it's a she, so that makes it even more weird. I don't know why I said he. So anyway, the two of them side by side, you can see they both have that big blocky look. The Autobot symbol here you can see is actually encased in a shield of white, whereas here before it was just a silver stamp on the arm. Now it looks like an actual sticker deco, or maybe it's just painted. They paint a white shield and then put the red on top of it. But regardless, I don't know why he's green, but for whatever reason, it just works for me. It's like the disco variation. I have absolutely no problem with it. I actually like it quite a bit. That brings us to our third version of this. This one, I believe, is a Target exclusive. This comes in a 2-pack with the Predaking, which is a mechanized dragon, which, I don't know, whatever. Sure, why not? I'm not so big on animals that they, make robotic animals, even though Beast Wars was an incredible show. But let's go ahead and throw this guy in the tent before I transform him so that we can take a look at him as a truck. And you can notice off the bat some big color variations here. The cab is overall gray with these blue pieces of trim. We've got light blue instead of the yellow and silver for the lights and the grille. Still has the funky teeth at the bottom, and these red windows. No idea why they have red windows, but I guess it makes as much sense as the green windows on the other one. You do have some blue metallic trim inside the wheels there, as well as the red legs, and then you have, again, silver on there for the, I guess you'd call it the trailer. There's also this funky logo on the top, which Autobot symbol with some sort of wings and some kind of bird hieroglyph. I have no idea, since I don't know if that's explained in the show either, if this color has anything to do with the show. But again, color variations I love. And again, comes with these same two, although he doesn't come with the shield wing thing that we saw with the green guy. So this is apparently a one-time deal, but the other weapons were the same. So just like the other two, we are going to use our elfin magic, and we are just going to make him transform. And here he is. Let's hop in the photo tent and get a good look at him, because we can see some more variations when we get in here. We can see that, in fact, he's got gold trim here instead of the silver on the original. But even the gold on the green one went all the way down into the socket there, which this one is just on top. He's also got the gold here on his head. And his Autobot symbol on the shoulder is actually missing, probably because it's right there on top where it's easier to see, so they felt that they didn't need the other one there. But again, a funky coloration, which just, I really have no excuse for why he looks that way, but he just looks really cool. One of the things that I want to point out, I think, amongst all three of them is that, again, even though this look of having the tires on top, I don't know of any frame of reference that they would have for doing that, it doesn't really bother me in this look, and partly because of the other massive changes that have come along with him. Part of it, I think, is because he's got these funky teeth, which you can also kind of fold back, kind of get out of the way. If you wanted to, you could kind of hide those a little bit more. And because of the way he transforms, like, there was really no other good spot, I don't think, that they could put those wheels. And they may have put them up there for a design reason. I mean, maybe they just decided it was time for a change, and that was the change that they were going to do. But it really just looks good to me. If I was going to do any sort of customizations on these, beyond, you know, having them where they are there, I think I might do some dry brushing on the weapons, just to make them stand out a little more, because they are pretty much just big blobs of gray plastic. There's nothing really exciting to them. But at the end of the day, when I look at some of the other small versions, like this version of Optimus Prime as a robot, I don't really care for as much. These shoulder pads up here from these wind things just kind of look funky, don't really serve a purpose, and the head just looks a little awkward to me. I like him much better in the truck mode than the robot mode. This one, again, I really like because he has that look of the original G1, but he's trying to be G1, and he's got these wheels stuck on the side of his arm that just look stupid. So this one, you know, obviously was the first one I got. This is the older one of the group here, and I really liked it at the time, but the more I saw it, the more it just kind of bothered me, because it is trying to be the original one, and it's just not, because of those design choices. But with these guys, they're not trying to be the G1. They're trying to be something new and trying to be something different, but they have that nod back to the original G1. So while it is a different look, it's still paying homage to that original design, and I enjoy that quite a bit. So much more than the Bayformers figures that we've been seeing over the last few years. So there you have it, guys. I like little Optimus Prime. I guess there's nothing really to say about it other than that. Having these little guys, having these different color variations just makes me incredibly happy, because I just love those goofy color combos. Now, don't forget, guys, you can always come to popculturenetwork.com. You can check out some of the show floor galleries we have from Toy Fair. We also have some product promo photos that some of the companies have sent us, so we set up galleries for those as well. We also have our normal comic reviews, our toy news. We've got some DVD reviews that have come down the pipe, and all sorts of great stuff like that. You can also come to the forums at jointheforums.com. Check out the conversations we have going on about a bunch of these toys. You can even talk about how much you like or hate these versions of Optimus Prime while you're there. You can always follow me on Twitter at @PCN_dirt, or you can call our 24-hour voicemail line. It's area code 217-953-4025. That's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can leave a message up to 10 minutes long, and yes, we do listen to all of them. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.